Significant benefits went to families at lower and middle income. Of course, it was means tested after $150,000 of family income. At the same time, though, we raised taxes on the top 1%. These measures together have led us to be in a very positive economic situation with the lowest rate of unemployment in history in our country. A positive situation. We're going to keep working in the future for the middle class.
Honorable député de Rougemont-Arthabaska.
Monsieur le Président, la semaine passée, le directeur parlementaire du budget a confirmé que le plan du gouvernement libéral ne tient tout simplement pas la route. Il a prouvé qu'avec leur plan, les libéraux devront hausser le prix de l'essence de plus de 23 sous le litre à cause de leur taxe carbone. Il n'y a, Monsieur le Président, que des libéraux pour penser que taxer plus représente un plan efficace. La question au Premier ministre est simple. Pourquoi veut-il, avec ses collègues ici dans cette Chambre, augmenter encore l'essence de 23 sous le litre sur le dos des Canadiens et Canadiennes?
Mr. Speaker, the question the honourable member put on the floor of the House of Commons is grossly misleading. He knows that the PBO report presumes that no action will be taken beyond measures that are currently in place in order to hit our targets. We will hit our targets. To date, we have put forward a price on pollution. We are going to make sure that 90% of our electricity comes from non-emitting resources from 2030. We've made the largest investment in the history of public transit. Mr. Speaker, I have taken hundreds of questions in this chamber, not one of them from Conservative MP asking us to do more. When it comes to the environment, the Conservative Party of Canada cannot be trusted.
Honorable député de Rougemont-Arthabaska.
Monsieur le Président, depuis que ce gouvernement libéral est en place, le coût de la vie des Canadiens et Canadiennes a augmenté en flèche. Drôle de coïncidence, comme le déficit. 80% des familles canadiennes payent plus de taxes et d'impôts depuis que les libéraux sont en place. Ça représente 800 $ de plus par année qui est pris dans leur poche. Alors, je répète ma question au Premier ministre. Pourquoi veut-il encore augmenter la charge des Canadiens et Canadiennes en augmentant l'essence de 23 sous le litre?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, with respect when it comes to the affordability, we have no lessons to learn from the Conservatives who opposed the Canada Child Benefit, which put more money in the pockets of 9 out of 10 low and middle income families. They voted against cutting taxes for middle class Canadians and voted for keeping them low for the richest 1%. When it comes to climate, Mr. Speaker, I've answered so many questions. They don't seem to listen. They won't listen to Conservative stalwarts like Preston Manning. They won't listen to the Nobel Prize winner in economics. I'd urge them to listen to the Pope from this past weekend, who said for too long we've collectively failed to listen to the fruits of scientific analysis and called carbon pricing essential. It's time to get with the program.
L'honorable député de Rougemont-Arthabaska.
Monsieur le Président, les faits sont clairs. Les libéraux ont coupé les crédits d'impôt pour les gens qui utilisent le transport en commun. Les libéraux ont coupé les crédits d'impôt pour les enfants qui font des sports ou des activités culturelles. Et le premier ministre a créé un déficit sur le dos de nos petits-enfants qui vont devoir le payer un jour. Au final, c'est encore les Canadiens, les honnêtes travailleurs qui vont payer plus de taxes et d'impôts à cause de ce gouvernement. Pourquoi ce premier ministre augmente-t-il encore l'essence de 23 sous avec sa mauvaise taxe carbone?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
To talk about adding costs for the next generations, Mr. Speaker. Inaction on climate change is the thing that is going to lead to the greatest cost for future generations. Every time we propose a measure to deal with the environment, the Conservatives oppose it. They oppose our price on pollution. They oppose our largest investment in the history of public transit. For God's sakes, Mr. Speaker, when we announced we were going to be banning harmful single-use plastics and gave them an opportunity to support the environment or garbage, they've chosen garbage, Mr. Speaker. They cannot be trusted when it comes to the environment. It's time we get with the 21st century. Climate change is real, and we found a way to make life more affordable for families at the same time.
I think the Honourable Parliamentary Parliamentary Secretary meant for goodness sake. He's gone from the Pope to a higher power. The honourable member for Carleton.
Well, speaking of the Pope, it's time that they made confession over there. Because they've been keeping a deep, dark secret that if this government is re-elected, as the PBO has pointed out, the carbon tax will add a full 23 cents to the cost of gas. Now, this is the PBO, whose word is much more reliable than that of a government that's missing its data balanced budget by 2 decades. So will the member unburden his soul and confess to Canadians the real price that he will add to a litre of gas if re-elected?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Environment.
Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the recent PBO report, the honourable member knows that it presumes that no further action will be taken on climate change. I suggest the honourable member is projecting what we should expect to see in the Conservative plan due to come out this week. I'd also invite the honourable member to review the prior report of the Parliamentary Budget Officer, which indicated 8 out of 10 families in his province will be left better off as a result of our plan. We're following the advice of the leading experts in the world, including last year's winner of the Nobel Prize in Economics. Mr. Speaker, if he won't believe me, he won't believe the Pope, he won't believe the Nobel Prize winner, I'd suggest there's no convincing him.
Honourable member for Carleton.
Well, Mr. Speaker, you still wouldn't answer the simple question of how much gas prices will go up when the Liberal carbon tax is fully and finally implemented. But the PBO went on CTV last week and said that the Liberal plan for the carbon tax would have to be twice as high as they now admit and 5 times as high as it now is, leading to gas prices that would rise 23 cents a litre. If the PBO is wrong, then how much will gas prices go up under the Liberal plan?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, if the honourable member had actually read the PBO report, he would notice that he actually pointed out that this was the least expensive option. I expect that the Conservative plan will mirror that of Doug Ford's, and I'm curious that their strategy is to cozy up to the Premier of Ontario. However, we know that it's going to lead to a worse record in terms of emissions reduction and a greater cost for families. We've been transparent about our plan. The price will increase to $50 a tonne by 2022. I'll show them the website afterwards. Until then, I'll assume their plan will mirror Doug Ford's and will make life more expensive for families.
The honourable member for Carleton.
So there we have it. 23 cents a litre is the minimum cost Liberals would impose on Canadian motorists. Well, I think Canadians would like to know what is the maximum cost of a Liberal carbon tax. He's right. The PBO did say that the Liberal carbon tax could actually be higher than the $100 a tonne. He speaks about provincial politics. We know that Kathleen Wynne is their model. She lied in 4 elections about coming tax increases. She increased the cost of energy. If they're following that model, why won't they come clean before the election and tell us how much it will cost and higher gas prices if the Liberals are re-elected?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the honourable member for the opportunity to clarify because, as the Parliamentary Budget Officer pointed out, the climate action incentive actually makes life more affordable for his constituents. The whole system works by returning the rebates directly to households. A typical family of 4 in the honourable member's own constituency would have received $307 off their taxes this year. I'm curious that the Conservative Party of Canada has now adopted an approach towards politics that would see families pay more tax. It comes as no surprise to me after a number of years watching them vote against the Canada Child Benefit, against the middle-class tax cut, and now against the price on pollution that will reduce emissions and make life more affordable.
Order. Alors, honorable député de Jonquière.
Monsieur le Président, le système de santé n'est plus adapté à la réalité actuelle. Il n'est pas normal que certains soins soient couverts et d'autres non, comme les soins dentaires et optiques.